Well, it might not be scandals and animals, but we got a new format. It might not be a Browns win coming home from London, but we got the Steelers coming up. What we got is 4 quarters of Believin'. Maybe this will feel a little bit like around the horn. It will be our regular topics that we normally go through. So let's start off with Drew. What the Browns must change versus the Steelers here.
Yeah. So what they must change, I'm going with the penalties. 10 penalties, almost 80 yards. They had 3 of them that were not accepted. Like that would have been 13 different penalties in a single game. You're just not going to win many games when you need a lot of things to go right anyway, and you then commit that many penalties. So that's my number one piece in terms of what must change. The secondary thing is that the wide receivers need to do more than 5 catches for 66 yards. That there needs to be some sort of efficiency in this offense. I have been begging for some type of efficiency that comes from just 1 or 2 big plays within a game. You need one wide receiver to get open, to make somebody miss, to turn something into a big play. If they can find that, they have a chance. And if not, that it'll be just like every other week this year.
All right, Eric, because I forgot to hit the time clock there. Let me put 60 seconds on the clock here. The new format here. 60 seconds to Eric. Eric, what must the Browns change against the Steelers?
Yeah, I mean, it's time to be aggressive. Be aggressive. Dylan Gabriel doesn't have to throw 50-yard passes in the air, but Kevin's got to open up the offense. A lot of the things that happened in the preseason, we saw rear its ugly head on Sunday. The 4-yard passes, the underneath stuff, the run, or run short pass format. Yeah, that he's got to attack down the field now. They do have offensive tackles that have been challenged, either allowing pressures or committing penalties. Perhaps, I know many teams have done this over the years, use a Harold Fannin or an Aiden Huntington to chip on the edge. I understand that's one less player who's going out on a route, but we don't throw to our wide receivers anyway. So, try to utilize maybe more than a quarter of a second to maybe 2 seconds of time that we can actually throw the ball downfield. I'm okay with the format of, playing keep away and being a little bit conservative, but the Browns can't expect Quinshon Judkins to be basically 95% of their offense and hoping that they can maybe move the chains on 3rd and 4 or closer. So the other thing is that the Steelers will be lining up probably 8, maybe 9 in the box. That's what the Vikings were doing, and we were ineffective the rest of the game for it. So, kind of winning your one-on-one battles in the trenches. So, yeah, a lot needs to change, but mostly just being less conservative, more aggressive.
All right, finishing on the dot with my delayed start there. Let's go to the second quarter. I think Drew's got a 7-3 lead here as we
All
move
right.
into the second. How to beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh. How about Eric? We give you the ball first here.
There you go. So they do have to play their game, and by their game I mean the Steelers game, and they have to out-Steeler the Steelers. I know we kind of referenced that in years past, and they have done that, but it's a ball control offense. It's winning the turnover margin. Two things that have rarely happened at Acrisure Stadium. However, it can still happen this Sunday. They were +2 in the turnover margin last week, and they could have won. I'm not going to say should have with this team, but those type of things rarely do they happen, but when those things do hit, you have those chances. So again, being aggressive when those opportunities arise. They sacked their quarterback 6 times and 70, and only allowed 70 yards rushing for the Vikings last week. Obviously, those two things are, you know, things that the Browns are going to have to work on, but they also did go up 350 yards passing. So passing yards are going to be plentiful, but just a matter of who can hit the routes for the Browns.
All right, another field goal for Eric. Drew, can you extend that lead? How do you beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh?
Yes, I can extend this lead, just like I want to see the Browns do to the unfortunately not quite last place Pittsburgh Steelers. This defense that everybody thought was going to be amazing going into this year has proven anything but in terms of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Cleveland Browns defense is obviously superior to the not quite last place Pittsburgh Steelers. Middle of the pack in terms of yards per carry. They give up 4.2 yards per carry. The Steelers allow over 8 yards per attempt. That's good enough for third worst in the league, down there with the Miamis of the world. The Browns have to be able to move the ball against this vastly overrated, not quite last place Pittsburgh Steelers defense. That's how you're going to beat them. You're not going to beat them by playing it super conservative and trying to figure out a way to earn a punt. So my advice, my hope is that they push the ball a little bit. They stretch this defense out, because if you can do that, you can get down to 6 to 7 guys in the box. The Steelers cannot stop Quinshon Judkins if they get into that point. The only thing they've done is turn the ball over. Avoid that, and you can beat the not quite last place Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, we're at halftime here. The not quite last place Pittsburgh Steelers.
Nice.
Can we just put that on the Ravens now? Quite the.
Well, yeah, you could have the not quite last place Pittsburgh Steelers and the last place Baltimore Ravens. I think that works out for everybody.
We saw Joe Flacco being traded to the Bengals. What a strange AFC North it has been this year, and yet to come. Ravens, no one's out of it. The Browns, definitely not out of it. Let's move on to the third quarter here. We have got Believer Bail in the third quarter. Kevin Stefanski getting a lot of heat for the game against the Vikings. Is he at fault having his selected quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, at quarterback, and the offense still is not scoring more than 20 points? Drew, let's go to you first here. Believer Bail, Kevin Stefanski calling the plays.
Is it his selected quarterback? I mean, I have to believe in the 2-time Coach of the Year, Kevin Stefanski. The 2 times that he has had a healthy, legitimate NFL quarterback, that team has scored a lot of points and won a whole lot of games. So I think that, if he can get decent quarterback play, if he can find a quarterback that he trusts, that he believes in, there you go. There's the brand for you. That this can be a really good offense. So I very much believe in the concept of outside zone run. I believe in the concept of play action passes and rollouts and the misdirection and the choices that it makes you make as a defense. He just has to find a quarterback who can play. In my opinion, there's one on the roster right now. It's just a matter of time before we get to see him.
There's no subtraction of points that I can do here. We're only adding points.
Very
this is the way that this game is played. Let's go over to the Fighting Frenchman, Believer Bail, Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah, I mean, he was given a 40-year-old Joe Flacco and a third-round rookie, and also ran in the not-so-last place Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback for his room. That's not in an ideal quarterback room. So I don't know really what everybody expected for this offense to be. A lot has to go right just to convert first downs for this offense, let alone score 17 points, hopefully 20 maybe this week. Yeah, in 2020, we saw what a competent quarterback and offensive structure can do for this team. Yes, they need a more competent quarterback. I would love to have a great quarterback, but they need a competent quarterback. I saw Dylan Gabriel be able to run this offense. However, he wasn't throwing the ball. He wasn't asked to be doing a whole lot. However, within this structure, within this scheme, the 2-3 tight ends, the multiple running plays has been shown to be effective. And I think Kevin Stefanski's offense can work. They just do not have the horses right now to run it.
All right, let's move to the fourth quarter. Continue the believing here. Browns, of course, win against the Steelers, or whatever you think is going to happen. Browns, Monday morning headline. Let's go to Eric here first.
Another Renegade Sunday. Browns simply cannot win in Pittsburgh.
And Drew.
I'm borrowing a Bret Hart quote. The armpit of America wins ugly. Steelers win barely.
Quite a long headline there, but extra points for the wrestling reference there. Eric, I'll get better on the scoring. I'm sorry. Drew wins the inaugural bout.
Yeah, you did a great job scoring, man. Everybody loved it.
Just like the Browns are going to outscore maybe 23-12. Maybe that's a prediction. Browns beating the Steelers. We'll see this Sunday. Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Browns.